The man who watched me sleep. It started on the third night after I moved into my new apartment. It's an old complex from the 1960s with creaky floors, weird plumbing noises, and walls too thin for comfort. But the rent was cheap, and I'd just gotten out of a breakup that left me needing space. My new place was small, but it was mine. The first 2 nights were uneventful. Just unpacking and eating takeout while watching old sitcoms. But the third night, that was the first time I saw him. I'd fallen asleep on my side, and sometime in the middle of the night, I woke up for no reason. My phone said 3:41 a.m. I was still groggy, and just as I was about to turn over, I realized I wasn't alone. There was a man sitting in the chair by the window. Just sitting, perfectly still. He wasn't doing anything. He wasn't looking at me. His head was tilted slightly down, like he was dozing off. I could barely make out his shape in the faint orange light from the street lamp outside. He wasn't a shadow. He was solid. I froze. My brain tried to rationalize. Had someone broken in? Had I forgotten to lock the door? Was this some weird dream? I closed my eyes tightly, counted to 5, and opened them again. The chair was empty. I didn't sleep again that night. The next morning, I convinced myself it was stress. Hallucinations from exhaustion. I laughed it off with a friend over lunch, but that night I pushed the chair against the wall, facing away from the bed. I didn't want to give him a place to sit. Night 4, I woke up again around the same time, 3:40 something. The chair was still empty, but this time I heard breathing. Not mine. Slow, even breaths coming from somewhere near the foot of my bed. I sat up too fast, reaching for my phone, and the sound stopped. No one was there. I didn't sleep again. The following day, I bought a cheap motion sensor camera and aimed it at the bed from across the room. I wanted proof, or maybe I wanted reassurance that I was losing my mind. Night 5, I forced myself to sleep. At 3:44 a.m., I jolted awake again. Something had clicked. My phone was buzzing. The camera had detected movement. Heart pounding, I grabbed it and reviewed the footage. At 3:41, the video showed me asleep. Then, from the left side of the frame, where the wall meets the closet, a figure stepped out. No sound. No disturbance. Just there. A man, tall and thin, wearing what looked like a dark coat, walked to the chair and sat down. He stared at me, motionless, for almost 3 minutes. Then he stood, walked to the edge of the bed, leaned over me, and disappeared. The video cut out. I didn't go back to sleep. I stayed up until sunrise, packed a bag, and left. I went to my sister's house 2 towns over and didn't tell her anything. I just said I needed a break. But later that afternoon, I got a text. From my own number. No message, just a picture. It was me sleeping. Taken from the foot of the bed. I hadn't returned to the apartment. That night, I drove back to get the rest of my stuff. I didn't go in. I stood on the sidewalk, staring up at the third-floor window. The lights were off. But as I watched, they flicked on just the bedroom. And someone stood at the window, looking down at me. I moved out the next day. Didn't bother cancelling the lease. I left everything. Furniture, clothes, the bed, all of it. I never went back. It's been almost a year, and I've moved twice since then. I sleep with all the lights on, no chairs in the bedroom, no mirrors. My therapist calls it trauma response. I call it survival, because last night I woke up at 3:41 again, and someone had moved the chair in my room to face the bed.